Adua TV, bringing good things to life.
All right, so I am here with Tearfund, and we are going to find out more about what Tearfund is about. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also fine. Your name?
I'm Becky Ingemels and I work for Tearfund, based in the UK.
Okay. And you?
I'm Saskun Radi. I'm also working with Tearfund based in the UK.
In the UK. Okay, so we are basically you're going to tell us what Tearfund is about, what you do, and what you've done so far as the church is also concerned. Okay. All right. So let me start with you, Becky. Tell us a little more about Tearfund.
Hi, great to speak to you. So Tearfund is a Christian development charity. We work in about 50 countries around the whole world. We feel our calling is to go where the need is greatest. So we go to 50 of the countries where there is most poverty and conflict, and we go in Jesus' name. We often work with local churches, and we really want to see people empowered and lifted out of poverty. So that's our vision.
Okay. So from Becky, you're in over 50 countries, and it's also church-based.
Yeah.
How are you able to combine saving lives and also preaching Jesus at the same time?
We believe poverty is the result of 4 broken relationships with God, ourselves, others, and the environment. So to release people from poverty or to free people from poverty, the church needs to restore those 4 broken relationships. And in that way, working with the community, transform the community. We call that church and community transformation. Various approaches to equip and resource the church to facilitate transformation in their communities and reduce poverty as a result.
Let me come to you, Becky. How difficult is your work, aligning your visions and or putting this work you do in tandem with what the church also do, so that you don't go away from what the church do? What's really the difficulty in your work?
Well, basically the biggest vision of our work is to work through the church globally. I don't know about difficulty, but our partners globally are often churches and dioceses where we train and facilitate people to run our church and community transformation work, empowering people out of poverty. So I don't really know. I don't know if Sas has got anything to say on the difficulties. I think obviously we work in very complex contexts, and some of the countries we work with, we have to be less overt maybe about our Christian faith, but wherever possible, we think that the church is well positioned globally in many countries to bless their community and see transformation in their community. So, and we often have stories of the churches like coming together with their community and building schools, coming together as a community, or looking at what their community really needs and making that transformation. So it's probably more challenging in contexts where being a Christian is you're not allowed to be so overt about that, but we still work with partners, often Christian people in those partners working in those countries.
Let me come to you again. How long has Tearfund been in existence?
Since 1968. Tearfund actually came about during the Nigerian Biafra Civil War, where people in the UK, Christians in the UK, started supporting the refugees that had been impacted by the Biafra War. And that then continued. Since then, working in various different ways. I just can add to Becky, we have 4 corporate priority areas, what we call church and community transformation, to facilitate to free people from poverty through the church. Secondly, environmental and economic sustainability. So we have a very strong emphasis on caring for the environment and facilitate economic development through green jobs and caring for the environment. And then a third one is around humanitarian and disasters, where we provide humanitarian relief. And what Becky just referred to is our work in fragile states, what we call. So these are countries where the governments cannot provide even in the basic needs of their communities. And we try to address the root causes for that fragility, such as, for example, disenfranchised young people, who don't have jobs, competition for resources, the trauma of ongoing trauma of conflict situations. So peace building is an important part of our work to address those root causes.
Becky, before we go, let me find out from you what would you like to do? Okay, what would you what are you looking forward to happen as far as Tearfund is concerned in, let's say, the next 5-10 years, right after the Lambeth Conference? You mentioned that you are in over 50 countries. Are you looking at getting into more of these very vulnerable countries? What's the target from here?
That's a really good question, thank you. So I think our heart and vision is to really expand what we're already doing. So especially with our church and community transformation work, we see such success in communities and churches coming together to transform their local community that we really want to keep expanding that across all of the countries that we're already working in. Many of the countries we're working in are doing it to a small extent, but we'd love to see that expanded. Again, we do lots of work around things like WASH and also sexual gender-based violence programs. And again, I think our biggest vision is to keep doing what we're doing, keep doing it well, and to see that grow and expand, and to see more of God's kingdom come. Many of the churches we work through, as well as seeing people empowered out of poverty, often come to faith, and often the churches are growing numerically in size. And so we think that the church is God's hope for the world, and so we are really about facilitating what God is doing, what the church is doing globally, and we just want to see more of that.
Thank you very much. I just spoke to Becky and Sas, right? Yes. So, Sas, thank you very much.
Yes, can I just say something about Tearfund has produced very good resources on how the church can address needs in communities. One of the best magazines on the church and poverty and development are these Footsteps magazines. And if people would like to get copies of this and access the resources, they can just contact us through Tearfund.learn. That is the easiest way. Thank you very much.
So that is Tearfund. I think we have learned a little more about Tearfund. We can always go to them and on their website. I believe there is a lot of information there, their magazines, so that we can know more about what they are doing all across the world through the church. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching us on with Becky and of course with Sas. Bye bye.
Adua TV, bringing good things to life.